And even McCormick's gone up for this one, and Birchinall's there too. McCormick getting a hit to it, got it on, oh, and kicked away over his own head.
And how's this for firepower? And just what those big guns were doing at Crystal Palace yesterday, well, we'll show you a little later in the programme. Incidentally, the Greek national team, here to play England at Wembley on Wednesday, were given the choice of watching Arsenal or West Ham, but they said that they would like to see this one. Above all, they said, they wanted to watch the one and only George Best. And Best is sure to pose problems for this Crystal Palace side. Picking up form again now, David Payne recovered from injury is at 2. Steve Kember is the new skipper. Meanwhile, Manchester United, they are delighted to have Dennis Law back in their side again after injury. Sadler and Fitzpatrick return to the defence.
Of course, Alan Gowling, is in our final 6 of the golden goals and scored a magnificent goal at Chelsea to get into that final 6. And now it's Birchinall streaking away, and a goal! Palace go into the lead with only 4 minutes gone. Supreme opportunism again there by Alan Birchinall. Tremendous acceleration, putting him clear of that United defence and giving Stepney no chance as he came out. So it's Stepney with no chance and Birchinall with his 13th goal of the season to put Palace ahead with only 4 minutes gone. Now Best. Craren with the kick to Fitzpatrick. And now Best. With a shot across that Palace goal, that wasn't so far off. Not the best of passes by Law, and it goes to Tony Taylor. Sadler, oh, losing it to Tambling. And number 2, Bobby Tambling. A mistake by Sadler, giving Stepney no chance. And Tambling makes it 2-0. It was Sadler's mistake, and Tambling pounced on it. Stepney got a hand to it, but couldn't hold it. 2-0 to Crystal Palace. And it was Bobby Tambling, in fact, who scored the only goal of the game by which Crystal Palace won a league game up at Old Trafford earlier this season. Gowling leaping for it, but beaten by McCormick. Willie Morgan turning it back again. Payne getting underneath that one, straight to George Best. To Charlton, trying a 1-2, pushed off that ball on the edge of the area once more by Payne. And I would think that Payne may have been just a fraction lucky there. So it's United's free kick, and it's going to be Charlton and Best standing over this ball. There's the Crystal Palace ball, Best number 7. Fitzpatrick's gone on the far side, Gowling's up there too, Law as well, even Edwards up there, Craren coming in. And they've got to be 10 yards off this ball. Best flicking it sideways for Sadler to bust it through, and my goodness, that was good work by Jackson. He really did burst that one through, low and hard. Tambling and Hoadley letting that one slip, and Law now for Gowling. Still Gowling, Law, and a goal! 2-1. Dennis Law. Law and Gowling delighted, and Law telling Gowling that it was his cool-headedness that set up that chance, unmistakably, for Dennis Law to come in there like a whiplash and finish it off. So Manchester United, with 3 minutes to go to half-time, get back into this game. Law was saying he wants it in the air, so too does Gowling. And Law, in fact, with an overhead kick, and it's there! He didn't catch it properly, but it went in for all that. Completely deceiving John Jackson. Struck low by Charlton. Law tried the most extravagant of overhead kicks. He didn't catch it properly, but it went in all the same. and United are level. Birchinall with his head to it, Dunn to hoof it away. Gowling and Hoadley, and now Best off in chase. Jackson doesn't know whether to come or stay. Still Best, still Best, still Best, and a goal kick. And on the far side, Crerar. Look at that for a pass as well. What a superb pass by Charlton. Oh, not such a good one by Paddy Crerar, but in fact Bobby Charlton made something of it. Law lifting himself again. Gowling, Best, and there it is! George Best, 3-2, and Manchester United's comeback is complete. Well, when it was nodded down, John Jackson had no chance because Best was ready to pounce on it and put United into the lead. Kemba, Payne, and Best once more bursting on that scene and played there nicely by Crerar for Best to hammer on, and Jackson, and it's there! Oh, a mistake by John Jackson, and Best has scored again. Jackson is absolutely disgusted with himself sitting in his goal. He makes so few mistakes in the course of a season, but that was a bad one, and United get their fourth goal. Finding Morgan. Good cross by Morgan, and Law very nearly got ahead to it. Crerar following it in, and Wall through the legs of Morgan to Taylor. Tamling. Oh, and Creran's beaten him. Played there for Law, and number five by Dennis Law. And that, of course, is Law's hat-trick. So a hat-trick by Law and two by George Best, and that goal made for him by Pat Crerar. Tambling, Queen, oh, and that might still fall for Taylor, and it was hacked behind for a corner by Paul Edwards. Taylor with the corner. Wall flicking it in, and it's there by Queen! Jerry Queen, who got the final touch. Taylor's corner, and it was nodded on, and Queen, who bent low just to get the touch past Alex Stepney. So 8 goals now in this game that has been full of so much good entertainment. Tambling. Scott is closely with him. There's Scott. Stopped in the end by Willie Morgan. But Scott really fighting, and a wild kick there by Willie Morgan, and the fists are out, and the referee is holding back Morgan, and someone at last holding back Scott. But really that was a bad piece of play there by Morgan, going in on Scott. He was the culprit. Taylor with a throw. Kemba. Past Best. Ball bobbling, not very helpful to him. Wall, though, a good pass there by Wall to Taylor. Taylor with Fitzpatrick. Again trying to go on the outside of him. And a free kick given to Crystal Palace. Hard to see what that was for, but the referee was right with it. Tony Taylor with it, and even McCormick's gone up for this one, and Birchinall's there too. McCormick getting ahead to it, got it on, oh, and kicked away over his own head by Bobby Charlton. Well, how did Charlton get a foot to that? Now Kemba. Really is all happening in that penalty area now. Tambling, belted away by Edwards, but only as far as Taylor. Now Wall. Everything now is centred in that penalty area. Oh, and flicked over his own goal by Edwards. and Hoadley to get it away. Done. Edwards, and the final whistle on a wonderful game, and a tremendous credit to Manchester United. Dennis Law, the hat-trick man, and George Best it is, who scored 2. They are the men who really, there's Best, they are the men who really put Palace to the sword, but a really marvellous and magnificent performance by Manchester United to come back when it looked as though they were out of it. And so the final score here, as the crowd comes roaring on to say farewell to Manchester United at the end of a superb afternoon. The final score, Crystal Palace 3, Manchester United 5.
What about Manchester United yesterday? After the game at Selhurst Park, I had a word with Dennis Law. First, I asked him when he'd last scored a hat-trick.
I think, Brian, as I told you before, I think it was 5-a-side the last time I got a hat-trick. Oh, it's so long ago, I can't really remember.
And away from home as well.
Dear, we don't score many. 5-goal wins away from home.
Was there one goal that gave you particular pleasure today?
The first.
That was when Alan Gowling played so well, so cool, didn't he?
But apart from the goal, it sort of brought us back into the game because we were 2-0 down, and it's only a few minutes ago. I had to look at the clock, and this goal came about 3 minutes before half-time, which was nice to get back into the game then, of course.
George Best, 2 goals?
Well, of course, he's a marvellous player, isn't he? You know, I think the second goal was it was a bit unfortunate for the goalkeeper because the ball was swerving like anything, and he was a bit unlucky really, but it was a marvellous shot.
Was it difficult out here in a fairly high wind or not?
Well, sometimes it's better to play against the wind. You know, as we found in the first half, we had the wind with us, and the ball tended to run away from us, you know. In the second half, the ball held, and we seemed to play much better, as you probably watched.
Indeed, and I think even the avid Palace fans would say it was a wonderful exhibition of football. Would that be as well as United have played all season, briefly?
Oh, yes, I think so, yes, and I must say that Palace fans were magnificent, you know.